Oos Warriors, welcome back to the channel. I'm sorry I have to jump on here at a weird time. Normally we do a 10 a.m. Wednesday check-in, but here we are, 7:30, traveling hotel room right here. I'm traveling to Fort Lauderdale, and big day for me. I'm going to meet some really important people. One of our uh, equipment suppliers has asked me to come down and talk to them about their lineup of MMA gear, Jiu-Jitsu gear, because as you know, Jiu-Jitsu, MMA, Muay Thai, this is the wave of the future. This is the martial art that everybody's practicing these days. So, they're really trying to get into that business. And so therefore I am down here to talk to them about, some of the gear that they're producing, but also get stuff for us as well. So, this is our weekly semen retention check-in, our discipline check-in. And what am I? I'm at 120 days, probably over 120 days. I kind of lost count, but you know that we are staying disciplined for the entire year of 2026 in order for us to attain our goals. So, for those of you that have lofty goals, be it personal goals, business goals, fitness goals, I'm a firm believer this is going to help us out. So, if you want to put them in your chat, talk about that as well. Make sure that we are holding each other accountable, which is really what this is all about, just to kind of make sure that we are connecting and make sure we hold each other up and try to help each other and hold each other to our goals. One interesting thing is, through this, I've connected a lot with a lot of people, a lot of influencers as well. I guess you could consider me a social media influencer, uh, even though I don't really like that term too much. But anyway, they're just labels. I've connected with a lot more people that have a lot of influence in the world, one of which has over 1 million followers on Instagram. And I was very inspired, motivated by him, but also that we motivate and inspire each other. And I think that's really cool. He's stopping smoking weed, stopping caffeine, and he says that a lot of that is from information that I put out. And so I can only, again, I'm just doing this to create good in the world, but think about other influencers, how they can create greatness in the world by sharing what they're doing to their audience. And a lot of this, we're just doing this to hold each other accountable. And he's recently quit marijuana. For me, I'm approaching over almost 8 years since getting the what would Graham Hancock call it, the green bitch off his shoulder. For me, I definitely used it for a really long time in my life. I was the highest guy that I knew for nearly 10 years, and getting off of it really changed my life. Um, I mentioned this a bunch of times on this channel. I used to be high from the second I got up to the second I went to sleep. You could ask my wife. She, when we first met, immediately take some bong rips, maybe even some edible brownies when I woke up. And then going to sleep, I had a vaporizer, like one of the volcanoes, and I would inflate a bunch of bags and huff them as fast as I could to help me get to sleep. And I'm so glad that I'm able to kick that habit, get off it, feeling so tired all the time. When they say indica for in the couch, I was definitely in the couch for a lot of the time, and I don't want to feel like that anymore. But anyway, um, perhaps my sharing that story, my being vulnerable to the world, because a lot of this is you are opening yourself to a lot of criticism, and maybe some people see you differently than they used to. But I would say that a lot of people in this world, especially in the West, have a lot of vices. And if we can share with the world how we are getting off of them, then perhaps we can help other people as well. And there's a time and place for all of it. I wouldn't change anything that I've done for the world. I think it was important for me to know the dark side in order to know the light. And so therefore, nothing is good or bad, right? It's just kind of what it is in that moment. And so therefore, I'm just trying to share some of the experiences that I've had with the world, and hopefully that would change your moment. Actually, one of the things that really motivated me was seeing some people post about being alcohol free. I don't really drink alcohol. My body, luckily, doesn't really process it very well. I have a history of family alcohol abuse, and I didn't want to perpetuate that. So I guess my body and my brain just didn't really take to it. But it definitely took to weed, definitely took to nicotine, caffeine, sugar, all that good stuff. for, at least what I thought was the good stuff at the time. But I was able to, shake that and get that off. So anyway, if you guys have any questions about that, I'm always happy to share that. I don't want to overshare and share those stories a bunch of times with people who've already heard it. So feel free to DM me, message me here. Also, if there's anything you've been able to kick or get off of, especially the semen retention, I think these things help you get a lot away from a lot of things. One thing helped me get a lot off of is sugar. Not to say that I don't ever eat sugar. I try to keep it to natural sugars as much as I can. On travel, it's very difficult. I had to get a little bit of jam today just to make something taste like not like cardboard. But these are the little things that I guess we shouldn't feel so bad about, but enjoy when we can. Um, but yeah, I don't want to overdo sugar. I find that overdoing sugar just puts me in a bad mindset, especially when I wake up. I'm like, man, I just feel like I don't want to really face the day, and it's kind of a weird feeling to have, especially when I live what I consider a pretty disciplined and clean life. And I was wondering why I felt that way. And so ever since getting off sugar, I feel so much better. So just another tip for you all. Nothing really too much to report for this week, other than before I was talking about how opportunities seem to find you, how the universe seems to align for some reason. It's kind of strange how things feel like they like this. It just feels like the right timing for everything, and I believe this is the right timing for growing our affiliation. As you know, I run the largest martial arts school in Washington D.C. We're going on 18 years now. Beta Academy. We're actually opening our second location in Capitol Hill. Our flagship location is in 14th Street Northwest Corridor. It's these are prestigious locations. My rent is super high, $25,000 a month, so it's kind of crazy. But we're looking to grow our own affiliation now in the sense of helping other martial arts schools improve their systems, grow their student base, live the martial arts lifestyle that you otherwise want to live. And so, one of the things that I'm coming down here to meet this supplier for is perhaps we can connect and we can partner. One of the things we always talk about in business is like who is your best customer? That's somebody who's already bought from you, So they have a list of people that they've worked with, all these martial arts schools. So I'm hoping to connect with them and get a bunch of people together in a room and really help improve their systems. And hopefully we can get more people as affiliates. And we just picked up a new affiliate out in Silver Spring. So we're very fortunate to be growing. Our goal as an organization is to grow to 4 schools in 10 years and 250 affiliates. This is one of the things that I try to do is I write a vision, a 10-year plan. And this doesn't have to be for business for those of you that don't run your own businesses, but I highly recommend that you do because it unlocks such a great opportunity for you to live your life first and pay your taxes second. I also am a CPA. Disclaimer, I'm not your CPA, so I'm not giving you financial or tax advice, but that's something that I find that has really unlocked my ability to get off the treadmill for happiness. And I call this as well the treadmill for happiness, right? It's like this the world that the world that we live in is meant to extract productivity, from us. And this kind of goes hand in hand with the discipline check-in. Hello, everybody in the chat. Thank you for chiming in. Um, and it's kind of a strange system. I don't know if it's used if it can be continue. I think a lot of people are very skeptical of corporate America and the way that they basically try to pigeonhole you and make you a gear in this or a cog in this machine that's working over and over again. And all it is meant to do is extract productivity from you, right? It's almost like what money does. Like you can put your energy into like these pieces of paper, or now even just digital. That's what it is. You'll never see the paper. And to give you some of this in order to extract your life force, because you're pretty much putting hours of your life, arguably the best hours of your life, sitting in a cubicle or moving, lifting things or fixing things for other people. Or for me, I was just punching numbers for other people, right? And I think a monkey can do that. And that's pretty much where we're headed to now, where AI is taking over. So I'm glad I was able to leave that environment. Although I do handle a lot of my own finances and take care of most of the accounting for my own businesses, and that's only because it's force of habit. Like I'm just used to it. I like to make sure I see the numbers. But I was able to get off that treadmill to happiness, and I really call it a treadmill because this world makes you think like, okay, now that you finish school, what do you do next? Hopefully, you finish school without a whole bunch of debt, right? Because that's kind of where we put everybody is they want to saddle you with a bunch of student loans. Did you know that student loans are the only debt that you cannot discharge, even in your own bankruptcy? Like you can discharge credit cards, but you cannot discharge your student loans. So I go through bankruptcy. I'm not saying that I did, but I'm saying if you go through bankruptcy and then you kind of go out, you restart your life, but you still got this crazy debt you might have. And it's kind of crazy that, for me, university, it opened doors for me at the time. I graduated my bachelor's degree in 2002. So I think that, from there is some argument that the world was a lot different for us coming out of school. We had more opportunities. But I always like to, think I make my own opportunity, right? I try to work hard and try to find my own path. But a piece of paper gives you a little bit more options. And perhaps now those options don't seem as um, motivating. They don't seem as attainable. They don't seem as desirable as much. So I think you have to find a different path. But in any case, I was able to get through school without getting a whole bunch of debt. I did get a master's degree and had like probably $20,000 in student loans. Just imagine the first thing you do in the workforce, you come out, you have this debt you have to pay. Think about how much harder you work, right? To get that off your back. And so the system is just designed this way into that now, after you do that, you should buy a house, you should get married, you should have kids, you should buy things to impress people that you don't even care about. And this is the treadmill to happiness. As an accountant, it's like you're trying to get that corner office, you're trying to get that fast car, those the business, what would you call it? The prestige, and nobody cares. You're just trying to one up each other. If anything, people don't envy you, they are jealous of you. And now you kind of have a weird relationship or dynamic with that person. But in any case, I always talk about going like around the world with however I try to describe something. But this is done by design. It's done to make sure that we are dedicating our best hours of our life enriching somebody else. Hopefully, that you are spending those hours also learning, because it's an important time for you to be able to do that, and that might give you some abilities to get off the treadmill to happiness. In any case, owning a business gives you a lot of opportunities to do that. I highly recommend it. And so, therefore, going back to what I initially was talking about, which is this 10-year vision, it's important to have a vision for yourself, for your business, for what you want in life, and write it down. Like, it sounds so elementary, but I write it down every single year, and I can see it unfortunately, in my phone now. But it's also good because I keep my phone with me pretty much everywhere I go, and I can always look it up and see where I'm at. But it's it, it, it's interesting because when you actually commit your pen to paper, or your fingers to the digits and to the characters, and you actually put your vision into something that you can read and follow and keep yourself accountable for, it's amazing how those things actually come true. So it's important. 10 years goes by very quickly. Have a 10-year, and then break it down to what it looks like in 3, and then break it down to look like what it looks like in 1 year, and then break it down into quarters, because then you kind of have an actionable plan, or at least you see the steps you're taking to get you to where you want to go. And I firmly believe that writing it down, looking at it, believing it, revisiting it, reevaluating it, because sometimes it's just a target you're aiming for, right? You don't necessarily get there. This is what you need to be able to accomplish more than you're looking to do in life. And again, it could be anything. It could be, fighting. It could be business. It could be family, relationships. And I actually try to write an aspect of each one of those is to like main elements or categories of where I want to go personally. And the vehicle in which I do that is my martial art and my martial art business. So everything kind of overlaps. They coincide to a certain degree. And the more that you can get things to overlap, and you're going to see that like one accomplishment, one objective achieved will push other written down goals into the direction you're looking for. So it's a great exercise to do. And now I find myself, after looking at it for the last 15 years of writing all this down, We are moving in that direction, and I credit that to some of the skills, of course, the people that I've met along the way, people that show me these skills, but also the discipline that we're all sharing in right now. And so for me, it's been over 120 days, and I'm not looking back. We're keeping going with this. Getting ready for a couple of competitions as we kind of go through too. I have the Kudo World Championships, which is going to be Kudo North American Championships on my birthday. My 46th birthday, I'm going to be able to fight somebody, and so I've been doing a lot of striking. Man, I gotta say, I haven't done this much Muay Thai, MMA, karate striking for at least 20 years, and I feel amazing. It's given me like I'm so happy that I found the discipline of senior retention because it reconnected me with my battery right inside. Like how before I would do one, maybe like three pad rounds every 2 to 3 years, like if that even that often. And every time I did it, I feel so terrible. I feel like, oh, why am I so tired? A, because I don't do it. B, because I'm always wasting my energy in other ways. And you know what I mean? Pixels on a screen. And now I feel like I'm rejuvenated. I feel reinvigorated every time I do a training. Yesterday before I left, I had to make it a point because I was like, I'm training striking 3 days a week. I spar on Fridays, and I get pad work, technical work, drilling on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So 2 days a week of skill development for striking. And I didn't want to skip it. And I had to get on a plane yesterday to Fort Lauderdale. So I called one of my friends, a neighbor. Our kids play together, to get up at 6 in the morning. We got together at 6:30 in the morning. We did a 2.5 mile run, and we came in and we did a bunch of pad rounds each. And it felt so good to get done, like to finish it. While I was doing it, I felt like super just locked into it. And afterward, I felt, man, I'm so glad that I got all the energy out. And that's one thing I would say is striking, like Muay Thai, is one of the greatest workouts you'll ever get. Like one of the greatest Muay Thai mentors, trainers in the world would say, like you have to drain the battery in order to get it to recharge. When it recharges even more. So you always get more than what you put out, as long as you make sure you let all that energy out. So um, I feel better than I ever did in my 20s now that I'm in my 40s. And I credit that to the discipline of semen retention and all the positive benefits that I found from it. So therefore, I hope that other people will find it too. And that's kind of the point of what I'm doing right now, is just sharing that with the world. Look, I'm not making any money doing this. I'm actually putting myself out there and like looking like a weirdo, just to tell you that this is something that, can help really change your life. So, here we are. But, I'm sorry again for having to keep this one short and to have done this at a weird time because, again, I am on travel. I am just trying to pursue some of these amazing opportunities that, are coming before me. And I'm very grateful for them. I'm very grateful. So I really do appreciate everybody for joining in. Now, if you want to help out other people, just make sure you share this, you like it, comment on it. Let me know where you're at in your discipline journey. How's it going for you? Are you running into any difficulties? Remember, difficulties, that's just nothing worth doing is going to be easy. So, don't feel like if you fall off the horse that it's going to be the end of the whole thing, right? Just get right back on there and keep on going in that same direction. All right. And I really do appreciate everybody following along. If you want to support me, I have a couple of things in the description below. One is a free AI, um, a nutrition plan, and it'll improve your body composition. If those of you that are working out, or for those of you that are in competition, that's what I use it for. So go ahead and check that out. And of course, that I have a lot of different courses on martial arts. I believe it is the best vehicle for personal development, and that's something you want to get into, or you want to have augment your martial arts training. Look in the description below for a bunch of my courses. I really appreciate any support you guys can give me. Everything you do helps me to achieve my goal of being a Triple Crown world champion. That is a world champion in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Judo, and Kudo in the over 45 division. And of course, I'm sharing everything in the world so we can chase greatness together. So thank you very much for joining me for this time, and I'm going to see you in the next one.